Welcome back to Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland alongside Bruce Woodburn, the most listened to real estate and mortgage show in the country, Bruce. I don't think there's any podcast that has.
Well, speaking of podcasts, if you can't catch us here, you can't catch us here, you can watch us on our YouTube channel.
Yep, there you go.
And you can listen to us on Spotify or iHeartRadio. You can check it out, the Loveland Report or the Lone Ranger Radio Show.
We are in the trenches, selling houses, doing mortgages. We are getting the money. Bruce has a big safe here. He runs out the door with briefcases full of cash all the time, making it to a closing. But all right, I've got a couple listings real quick, Bruce. This is that price point I talk about. This price point in 2019 was 150 to 200,000.
Okay.
Here's a townhouse, DeLand, great community, gated townhouses, newer style, so high ceilings, big master bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-story townhome, 1,400 square feet in a gated community for 290,000. I've got a single-story tennis villa for 420,000, just reduced, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. This is in Tuscaloosa. Wedgwood Tennis Villas. This is like where all the people sell their big mansions in Tuscaloosa. They go into this neighborhood to retire. 1,500 square feet for 420,000. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It's got a den also, flex space. This builder does awesome remodels on that, totally redone. And then I've got a starter home downtown near Camping World Stadium. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. New price at $299,900, 1,400 square feet. If you want to take a look at any of these, or you're thinking about buying a house, call me at 407-352-8118. We'd be happy to help you with your real estate plans.
Yeah, and if you want to get some numbers run on those properties or get qualified so you can make an offer on one of Cleve's listing or any other listing, then call the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. Listen, if you got a client that comes to you and they have a pre-qualification letter and they're interested in buying one of your listings, what are you doing?
They still can't get in the car.
They're not.
They can't get in the car. We can't let them
Would
through the door.
you negotiate with a client that a realtor brought you with a
Well, if they did actually, if
letter?
that now so if another agent like my buyers that get in my car or Nanette's car that show properties, they will be
they're
fast tracked through you,
of course.
And if I get an offer on a listing, and I can't control who that buyer has used or talked to, but I can look at their letter and read and tell her this is okay. If you're not lying, we think we can get you a mortgage. That's basically.
You ever call that lender and grill them?
I can tell. No, I make the other realtor do it, because the other realtor should know how to do that and what's going on with that. Because I might negotiate with them if they presented a good offer and we're going to give them a counter offer. But part of my counter offer is either call the Lone Ranger or I need your lender to call me and clarify these points. Do they have all their paperwork in? And most of the time it's I don't know. And that's just
well, the realtors just
boils my bunny. But
they don't dig deep enough.
They don't,
the lender.
and they're wasting their time. I mean, sometimes they put people in the car that say, "Oh, I'm good up to 600,000." Turns out, after you look at it, they're good to 499 or 550.
Cleve, when I'm looking at a client to get them pre-approved, I want to make sure that they've got everything to me so we don't have issues. The last thing I want to do is find out a client doesn't qualify after I thought they did, and they've been out looking at property for the last 15 weeks. It's just painful.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want that to happen.
Well, it doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve the buyer. Doesn't serve the realtor. So it's a waste of everybody's time. And that's very disappointing when somebody's already started putting furniture in a room, and all of a sudden they find out because of a tax lien or because of a bad mark on their credit, they're not going to get that house.
Listen, realtors that go out and drive clients around that aren't fully pre-approved because they think they are, and I'll get a call from a realtor going, "Oh, I know this client's going to be great. I think they make like $400,000 a year, and I know they have a bunch of money." And I get them pre-qualified, and I'm like, "Well, you grossed 400, but you only netted 22,000, and all of your money is tied up into something that you can't get into." So the realtors think they have something, but they don't know. Clients can't lie to me. If they do, they're only hurting themselves. But most of the time, my clients are wide open with me, and I tell them to be open with me, because if I get a surprise, it's only going to hurt them. So the best thing you can do is get all your docs to the lender, be completely upfront with them so you don't have any surprises. 64% of people that are buying a home and getting a mortgage are dissatisfied and either don't close at all or don't close on time. That percentage is ridiculous. And you don't want to be one of that 64%.
Yep.
You want to be one of the the 24% that get into the home, right?
Yeah.
That's really what you want to be.
Yeah.
So, and close on time. So that's why I'm here. I've been in the business 35 years, closed tens of thousands of transactions. I'm right here in your backyard, and you will not get a pre-approval letter if you're not pre-approved. Period.
And the other thing I see buyers get shaky on is buyer's remorse, like right into the contract, and usually it'll come right after the good faith estimate's finally gone out, and they get hit with their numbers, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had $20,000 in closing costs on this $500,000 home. And nobody explained that to them. They didn't know their numbers. I talk about this with sellers, and I talk about this with buyers. If you're going to have a FHA 3.5% down payment, closing costs are about another 3.5%, depending on how you structure the deal. And if that 30 grand, 35 grand is going to empty your savings account totally and put you in a position where you're scared, we don't want to find that out after you went to contract and you run the inspection. All of a sudden you get these good faith estimates, and it just freaks people out. They got to know their numbers. And Bruce, you'd be astonished when I'll get a pre-qual letter good to 600, and we're negotiating in the low fives, and I tell the lender, well, hey, that's a $3,500 payment with everything. Why is your buyer's qualified higher? And the realtor goes, how'd you know it was $3,500 payment? How do you know? I'm like, because I got the pre-qual letter. It says their interest rate's about this. And here's the amount they're putting down. And I'm like, I got an app on my phone, knucklehead. Come on. And this is what's not out there anymore, because half the brokerages out there are virtual and haven't met a sales manager, haven't met the top producer down the hallway that sells 30 homes, or talk to them about, hey, how should I write an offer? How do I do a market analysis? They're just worried about their commission and their paycheck. And these brokerages, they're virtual ghost kitchens, with just people sending in their commission checks and paying a small management fee. So anyway, to have the right person helping you with your real estate plan, call Loveland Properties at 407-352-8118. Bruce, you want to give out your number?
CleveLoveland.com. Yeah. So I want to just do a shout out to a couple of builders real quick here that I'm really enjoying. Southern Homes down in Lakeland, Bartow. I was down in Sebring the other day. That's quite a drive from here.
Did you run your car around the track?
I did not run my car around the track because I was working, but I was down in Sebring and Bartow and Lakeland and Southern Homes. You can buy a brand new home in the 350s. Now listen, they've got their lots are bigger. They got 80-foot lots. They got 1 acre lots. Mm-hmm. They've got 5 acre lots. They've got huge pieces of property. So you can be in a neighborhood and not be right next to your neighbor. It's kind of like the lots we grew up with when we were kids, Nowadays, you couldn't push a wheelbarrow between your house without scraping your knuckles on your neighbor's yard.
And let me ask you, all those builders you work with a lot of good builders in town. They're all raising their prices now, aren't they? They're not lowering their prices.
They are. They're all starting to raise their prices.
And the amount of closing costs is probably going to start inching its way down, the amount they're giving, know. So didn't you say one of them had a price increase coming? And I guarantee you by January 1, there's probably going to be some more price increases.
They're already cutting back on incentives as well. But if you want to buy down in that area, talk to me about Southern Homes. Go to WeBringYouHome.com. I have a direct link to their website. And then I will also be out in Trinity communities. They've got St. Cloud, Mineola, Claremont, Leesburg, all up and down the corridor. They'll pay your closing costs as well when you use the loan arranger. Call me or go to my website at WeBringYouHome.com and I'll get you connected to one of these builders. Phenomenal. Now, even companies like Lennar, we are a backup lender for Lennar since they have their own mortgage company. Mm-hmm. We're a backup lender for them. We can do backup for some Beazer transactions and other builders. And then if you're looking at custom or semi-custom, I can connect you with builders all over the state of Florida. You can build on your own lot. We're doing construction perm loans for them. Unbelievable.
And you've got some construction perm products that are outrageous.
I've got FHA, VA.
That's unheard of.
And conventional, as low as 5% down on conventional. But listen, you always are astonished by the loan programs we come up with. You won't believe this next one. Construction perm, reverse mortgage.
What?
Construction perm, reverse. Now, we just came out with a construction perm home equity line of credit. Now we're going to have a construction perm on a.
So I'm going to build my $500,000 house, and all I have to do is put down basically usually a reverse mortgage.
About 50%.
About 50%.
Or put down or cash, whatever you want to do. Yeah. But then you have Yeah, you
That's
can either
hilarious.
get payments back.
Bruce, I got to jump back. Last week, you and I were at a conference of our national coaching company, and it's funny. I was in different rooms and classes and learning about what's going on in the market and how people are getting, working well in this real estate market. And there was lenders in the class too. And it's funny. I would hear your colleagues, other cross-country lenders, talking about, well, I got this product and I got that product, and the other guys are in other major mortgage companies,
right?
And they're like, what?
Right.
You got what?
You got what?
It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
We definitely do have the products. There's no question about it. We're #1 retail lender in the country, CrossCountry Mortgage. I'm the regional vice president here in Central Florida. You can count on me and my team to not only take great care of you, return phone calls, and get you a great interest rate with the lowest possible closing costs. We'll help you. Cleve and I work together to help you negotiate the best possible deal. So call the loan arranger now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com.
And I want to mention getting on the market now. This time of year, you're going to have less competition. I really think as rates start to settle and we hear more and more good news about the upcoming administration, the businesses will start to take off. And I really think that house you're looking at now, if you're looking at 500, I really think in the spring that house is going to be 525. And you really want to get in there now. Don't worry about the rates. Bruce, you've got people set up on an automatic notice if they need to refi.
If you're looking at refi, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes, but we're going to I've got a list of folks that want to refi, but they just want to wait for the right time, and we're going to be there to help them.
Well, our with median price is appreciating about 2 or 3% a year. The average price is going up about 7 or 8% a year. So in Central Florida, you want the average house of 4.2 with 2,300 square feet. You're probably in the high fours, and you wait 6 months, it's going to cost you $16,000.
Yeah.
Your interest rate being 6 3/4 or 6.5 as compared to 5.5 is way more. That interest is way less than that $16,000 in appreciation.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Get in now.
And there's down payment assistance programs still available right now. I mean, people are still calling me about Hometown Heroes, and Hometown Heroes does have fallout once a month. But if you're not under contract, fully approved for your loan, and you can get it within about the first 20 seconds of when that money's available, I'm serious
Really,
when I say that. Like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. That's about all you're going to get, because they'll only get like maybe $3 million.
Well, I think the thing is to be ready, to call you and be ready. Get fast track.
Well, you have to be under contract to get down payment assistance.
Oh, down payment assistance.
Okay.
But they should have their application in and all that.
Ready to go.
And they can be ready to go. And I think this is what I am fast tracked. I am ready to go on a rental property. When I see one come up, I'm trying to buy one before the end of the year. My goal is to get 2 more next year. And it's just, you got to be ready, and you got to have everything in. So there's no doubt when you go with your offer, you put down a large, a $10,000 deposit, and you say, I can close in 14 days if you want, 16 days. You call the listing agent and say, hey, this deal is just about as good as cash. And that's the kind of things that,
Well, when people are fast track, I guarantee the seller I'll close on time, or I'll pay him up to $500 a day. Yeah. $500 a day for missing a closing.
And that's good to have all that done. You know how many lenders called me this year and said, hey, that's a good loan. My buyer's going to close no matter what on my listings.
Right.
And I'm one of the top 100 agents in town. None besides you calling my clients to do that. None. So, and it just amazes me. That's just simple business and being sure and knowing your numbers, like I say, to get all that done. But if 2025 is going to be your year to move, give me a call. We can get you on the market. If you want to move, you don't want to take your Christmas tree down and move, we can get you on the market this month and just have a January 1 closing. We're going to dive into some tax advantages and tax planning you can do after the next break. How much time we got?
We got to go ahead and give out our numbers.
We do. All right. So to reach Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, 407-352-8118, or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yep. Or call Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger, at 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. When we get back, I want to talk about which loan programs people are getting, and should you refinance right now or hold off. I'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger.